Cars.co.za.
Budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.
Hello and welcome to the review of the Chery Tiggo 8 Pro, a 7-seater SUV in the mold of a Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace, that sort of market. It's the second Chery that they've launched since coming back into South Africa, the first being the Tiggo 4 Pro, which you can watch in another video that Ciro did here. It's an interesting car, but let's dig into some of the details. The latest offerings from the Chinese manufacturers have been really good. Haval has shown us what they can do with the H6 and the Jolion. Really good interior quality, reasonable drivetrains, and good quality product overall. So with the likes of Haval really starting to dominate in the SUV market, Chery has taken on a similar kind of characteristic where your first impressions of the car is it's amazingly well spec'd inside here. You've got great screens. There's a touch screen up here. You've got a touch screen down here for your climate controls. Your instrument clusters also digitized. Everything looks really good and the quality is really nice. You've got like proper leather on the dash, not fake leather. You've got soft touch dashboards, leather steering wheel. Everything is really nicely digitized, so you don't get the feeling that like the Chinese brand is behind, you know, other brands, so Koreans or Germans or anything like that. It really does feel like a nice quality piece. One area the Chinese haven't yet managed to completely overhaul the competition is in the drivetrain area, your engine and gearbox, that sort of area. And this Tiggo 8 Pro it's a big car powered by a 1.6 litre turbo petrol with around 145 kilowatts, but only 290 newton meters of torque. Now the torque is the thing that really gets the car moving. You know, that's when you're carrying a load or you're towing, you use that torque to kind of get the car moving and use it to accelerate. And that's really important. And the 290 newtons isn't quite enough, I'd say. It's okay if your normal day-to-day school run, shops and back, picking up kids, but when you start to really load it up, it doesn't cope with that sort of load so well. You feel it really drags on the engine, and that has a result on the fuel economy. So we're sort of averaging around 10 to 11 liters per 100 kilometers, which you wouldn't really expect from a modern day car. Everything sort of is under 9 or 10 nowadays. That said, the engine may not have quite enough poke, but the gearbox is actually pretty good. I don't have any complaints there. It kind of does its job shifting in and out of gear. In eco mode it can be a little bit slow to react, but I think it's just trying to save fuel at that point, so everything feels a little bit tardy. So no complaints there. What's the Tiggo 8 like to drive? Well, I'd say the ride's a little bit on the firm side, especially on the bumpier roads sort of out here in the suburbs. It's a little bit firm, a little bit bouncy, but a lot of cars in that segment are as well. I mean, the new Tucson is also quite firm. I've driven that. Probably the best riding of the lot is generally the Volkswagen Tiguan. That's pretty good. The Sportage is also good, although that is being updated as well, so we'll have to see what that ride's like. Steering, it's fine, man. It turns the car. It's got nice weight to it. It's actually not bad. One thing that is interesting though is that obviously as a Chinese model it's a left-hand drive first, and they built the right-hand drives after that. So one of the things they've forgotten to do is change the buttons across. So strangely, your left-hand side buttons change your instrument cluster and your right-hand side buttons change your infotainment system. So you'll get used to it. It's just something that I wasn't used to jumping into it the first time. This car has such a great interior. It is really well built and really luxurious, but one of the things that's really confusing me is the mirror that they've installed here. This rear view mirror, it's like the world's widest angle mirror, and I don't want to look behind because it distorts my vision. Like, I can see everyone in the back really well, but it's made them like tiny people, and then everything behind is really, really small. I don't know why we just didn't use a normal rear mirror. I don't know why it needs to be like that. It's going to make a lot of people weirdly nauseous. Welcome to the rear seat area part of this review. I'm sure if you're buying an SUV or you're interested in one, you want to know if there's space in the back for occupants. And I can tell you, as someone who's just about 6 foot tall, plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom here, and I've got one USB port here, drinks holders down here, a little warning here to tell me that if I open the door whilst there's a car coming, I'm not going to be able to open the door. I got a center bin for 2 drinks holders here, 3 full seat belts, which is nice for a family, I guess. Always nice to have that middle seat belt across you. The seats are also on rails, which is quite cool, so I can give rearmost passengers a little bit more legroom, which I'm probably going to show you right now, in fact. So let's jump in the third most row. Okay, so you just pull this lever here, the whole seat flies forward, push the rear seat up, and now you've got to be fairly agile to throw yourself in here as a full-size human. So I'm in, I've got a nice backrest, well, headrest rather, and then if I slide this back, like there, that's good. Yeah, there's reasonable room back here if this seat is slid pretty much as far forward as it goes. I've got enough legroom here. I've got a vent for my own aircon. There's one for this side and that side. Got a drinks holder, a phone holder, but no USB ports, and my head is just starting to graze the roof. So kids will be fine in here, man. This is spacious. I don't know whether I'd do 1,000 Ks here, but it's okay. Welcome to the classic boot scene in every review. I'm going to use my phone here because there's a lot of stats, and I'm using the Cars.co.za trusty app, which has all your new and used car specs you'll ever need. But anyway, you have 193 liters with all the seats up, which is pretty stock standard for the segment. But then once you flick the seats down with single-handed ease, you open up 892 liters, which is probably the largest in the segment. That's a rather large space. And then if you fold down the seats again, you get 1,930 liters, which I don't want to state as class leading, but I'm fairly sure that's class leading. One of the coolest features though is this little flap here, which opens up the space to your parcel shelf. Now, normally what you do with that is, as soon as you don't need it, you just throw it in your garage and it gets lost in and amongst dust. But that's a really cool space for it to sit. And then you've got a spare wheel underneath the floor. So what does your 550,000 Rand get you in terms of interior spec? Well, absolutely everything. Everything you're ever going to need is here. You've got beeps. It beeps for everything. It's a safety feature and an annoyance feature. You've got blind spot assist. You've got lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control, adaptive headlights, dual zone climate control, different driving modes between eco, normal and sport, ambient lighting, which you can choose 8 different colors, or you can adapt it to the driving mode you're in. You've got panoramic sunroof. Apparently people really love panoramic sunroofs, so that's standard. Leather everywhere. Oh, one of the things I've noticed in here, this has a fast wireless charger. I haven't seen one of those in a car yet. We normally just get a wireless charger that heats up your phone until it explodes or melts. So this one's fast, so obviously that'll just melt your phone faster, but it does charge it faster as well. You've got USB points. You've got 2 in here, 1 in the back. So interestingly here, you've got like a cooled box, or you've got like a phone holder, but if you slide it back, your drinks holders are here and a phone or key holder is here as well. That's quite cool. And then like, if you go into the settings on this infotainment system, you'll be here all day. You can change just about a setting for everything. You can change your steering mode in here, how far the radar guided cruise control adjusts to, how late you want your pre-collision warning to beep. What else have we got here? Door opening warnings, speed limit assists, lane departure sensitivity. And as you indicate left, it gives you like a little camera to the left hand side so you can see what's down there that you could possibly hit, like a brick or a cat or a dog, anything that's kind of on that side. The same happens when you put the right on. You get a little camera. You have to obviously be at slow speeds. You can't just put it on while doing 90 to see what's up the side there. So yeah, it's a really well-spec'd car. They could have done better with the rear view mirror, I've got to say. I still can't look at this thing without vomiting on the sound guy here. Some of the adjustability on this is really good. Like, you can adjust how far you want the boot to open when you want it to open. So if you're really short, you can set it to like 80%, and then it electronically opens up to 80%. But if you want it all the way 100%, you've got like a range of how far you want it to open. It's the kind of adjustability which I think we've become used to in our modern techno lifestyle, I guess. So if you want that, you can use it. In terms of your backup, as of sort of March 2022, Chery has close to like 50 dealerships or places that will resell you or sell you a Chery. So they are expanding, and the dealer network and the dealer footprint looks really promising. And in terms of the actual warranty, you get this 10-year, 1 million kilometer engine warranty, but it's not transferable to the second owner, so only the first owner gets it. And you have to have your car serviced at a Chery dealership that entire time. But who really keeps a car for 10 years and 1 million kilometers? The most important part is that your warranty is actually 5 years and 150,000 kilometers, which that's a good warranty. In terms of your service plan, they could have gone a little bit further. I think 5 years, 60,000 is a little bit short. What does that come to? Just over like 10, 12,000 Ks a year. I think most manufacturers try to hit the 15 to 20,000 kilometers a year. So if that was a 5 year, 100,000 kilometer, as most of the other manufacturers in the segment offer, I think that would have been a better service plan. But still, if you're only doing 10,000 Ks a year, you get 5 years worth of servicing. So that's something to take into account. Should you buy a Chery Tiggo 8 Pro? A lot of things are right about this car. You've got an amazing array of features in here. You've got great safety systems. You've got a ton of modern technology. So in that regard, yes, it's a really good value for money car. And you get 7 seats. So if your kids have friends, you can always bring them as well, I guess. Spacious, really well built, feels good. But maybe the only thing it's lacking is a decent drivetrain. It could do with a more powerful engine, and it could probably do with a better ride in terms of like the bumpy road suspension feel. It's a little bit jiggly. But other than that, this is a really good offering at a really good price as well. So if you don't want to go off-road and you don't want a Fortuner, it's probably a really good call right now. I don't think if you're buying into a Chinese brand like Chery, you're missing out on anything anymore. It's not like before where everything was translated really weirdly. You weren't really sure whether it was as good as a modern product from some of the traditional rivals. But now, I think you can easily say that it's right up there in terms of quality. Some of the build quality is even better than we've seen from those rivals. So it's not even a risk to say buy Chinese anymore. This is definitely a formidable product, right up there with some of the best in the segment, and at a price which is probably going to gain them a lot of market share. So I think it's going to sell. There you have it, the review of the Chery Tiggo 8. I hope you found it useful, and if you're expecting Ciro, he's still at the moment. So if you've made it this far into the video, comment down below, get well soon, Ciro. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.
Thanks very much for watching. If you've just watched this video but you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, you absolutely should do that immediately right now. Click the subscribe button. It's a good idea for a bunch of reasons which I actually don't have really a lot of time to go into. But it's good. It's a good idea. Excellent. Thanks for watching. I said that already.
Budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.
Cars.co.za